What up, y'all? It's Casper. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about Tulsa King Season 3, Episode 10. Season 3 of Tulsa King Episode 10 is called Jesus Lizard. It's 36 minutes, directed by Jim McKay. Writers for this episode is Dave Eckerson and Sylvester Stallone. The season is over now, and I can't believe that this season kind of just flew by in a way. The vibe of this season, I'll kind of just describe it kind of like a book. It kind of gave me like we were actually in the middle of a book, and it was kind of like either you were kind of bored of it, or the middle of the book should be pushing you and being like, oh, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. But either or, this vibe of this third season, we did see a lot of the stuff that, you know, did bring that Tulsa King vibe. I just want to give props for the whole cast being there, and Sylvester Stallone still putting out an awesome performance, and he really puts a lot of promotion behind Tulsa King, which really shows me that, you know, he's super on board with it. Really cool with the other characters as well, just to get a little bit closer to who they are, and it's been a very awesome ride. This storyline in general, honestly, like I said about the book status, this is kind of how like I would expect this third season kind of to be as well, in the aspect of the first two seasons, and then now we're just expanding this world. That's why it just feels like a book, because now we're just seeing where it's been going since the first couple chapters. Let's see how the fourth season goes. Very excited about that. Do want to say that it's a really cool positive knowing that there is a fourth season, and another positive is that Samuel L. Jackson is going to kind of have a spin-off of this show. Don't want to get too ahead on just talking about, I hope this is not like the final seasons of Tulsa King, but really just like the fact that they're giving us another season, and hopefully that season exceeds expectations. This storyline right here, you know, it'll be one for the books for sure. Hopefully they have a lot of really cool stuff for the next season. Here we are, episode 10. Did see Stallone had writing credits, so I knew that we were gonna see some motivational quotes in here, some motivational lines from Stallone, and honestly couldn't wait for that moment. And also the fact that, you know, Samuel L. Jackson's character is being integrated in here. Just a lot of just hypeness for me. In this episode, for those who caught up to this one, last episode, Dunmire basically kidnapped Dwight Manfredi's sister. Very wild, because, you know, Dwight did play that move as well on Dunmire earlier in the season. So to kind of see it come back to Stallone, that was actually a very interesting thing. This whole focus on the sister being captured, which she's doing a phenomenal job as her sister, so shout out to her. But the motive was to save his sister. I was just very excited to see how the buildup of the ending scene was going to be, and basically just see what war we're about to see on screen. Like, what is the craziness is about to happen. To say the build up to the ending scene was something that I really did appreciate, because we just had a lot of the people who work for Dwight actually bring their resources to actually go find Dwight's sister. And I like how everything was just more on board. Everything felt like the whole crew was kind of like a funeral thing, where everyone knew that everyone there is gonna just go and destroy somebody. That's basically what it was in here. Like, Dwight Manfredi is literally going all out, and he does not care about Dunmire's life at all. Even with Bodie's character, and even with Mitch's character, on just the build-up, every section of Dwight's team had a different feel of basically trying to get at Dunmire. Definitely movie-like in the last two episodes, especially this one right here. We also saw Dwight get a lot of the stuff confirmed for his bourbon stuff, so that basically is like different outlooks for next season, and it could show as well that it's gonna get bigger, and it's gonna show that this world, the way it's gonna expand, who knows. But just the direction of what we saw Manfredi's business finally get checked off. He finally got a lot of the permits that he needs, and no one could really mess with him. Really like how that's setting up for the next season. Even seeing Cal Thresher in this episode was pretty funny, because he's all in on winning that election, and Margaret is getting somehow integrated in politics now. You're just seeing the different ventures a lot of these characters are not putting themselves in. Like, expansion wise, that's what you're seeing a lot of these characters do. Definitely trying to grow on this show. Whenever Robert Patrick, you know, Dunmire had his screen time in those moments, I think those were just good moments to show his character. A really good episode to just show his acting. Man, the turn of events of his character is absolutely wild. Just the build up and the on screen with Joanne and Dunmire, I really like that interaction. I really like the lines on both of them, to be honest, because both of those really felt like their own boss perspective was just being presented. Really like how Manfredi's side with his sister really really like shows characteristics of her brother in those lines. I really enjoyed that. And with Dunmire, you could just see that his power is being tested and it's not going anywhere where he really wants it to go. And going straight to the wildness, Cole, I didn't think that he was going to be somebody on Dwight's side. I thought he was going to be straight on his pop side, but this was like the final stamp for Cole and his dad. Literally, you saw in here why Cole just has so much grudges over his pops, and very wild to see Spencer involved with this. And it just really shows how like a lot of characters, you can't really sleep on them at all. But seeing that Cole helped out with Manfredi, wild. And I'm talking about like wild because this is literally a evil boss's son helping Manfredi. I don't even know where that's gonna take us. A lot of cool ammunition, guns, just the buildup of going out full war. It's not just character buildup, it's just like a lot of cool stuff you're seeing as well. People getting ready for war, especially in this style right here. I honestly really like that. You could just see that these people, the crew, is having fun and they're ready to go to war as well. And it doesn't bring like unrealistic vibes. It honestly brings you back to reality, especially with characters like Grace, because Grace ends up acknowledging she's not really experienced with just showing up out of nowhere on a crazy mission like this. So that's something that when I'm seeing small things like that I appreciate in the writing, that even though this TV show is, you know, trying to be as awesome as possible, it does have some cool on earth feeling lines where you're like, okay, not every character, we know that Grace isn't the craziest shooter, why is Grace here? But Grace does want to learn. So Grace is one of those characters where, you know, she's not scared of a lot of stuff. So this was an episode for that. And Tyson, his moment, this was like a Tyson episode for him. Literally, he went all out in this episode. The final scene showed Tyson actually doing what he got to do, and that was just awesome. The final scene was crazy. Like I said in the beginning of this review, the buildup is just awesome. You know that Stallone's not playing around. And Stallone, perfect season finale for him to literally have his moment. Stallone had his lines that he has to get out and basically be like, only Stallone could do. Stallone actually did some wild stuff in this episode where, man, that would be so cool to be on set to know that you're going to film this episode right here. Man, it was just awesome. You're just rooting for Dwight. Wild choice. I really like how they took out Dunmire in this episode. And that was a good setup too. That was just perfect. That was just like on screen, like literally that's the whole episode. In addition to all that, you have Samuel L. Jackson in here, which he got a good amount of screen time too. It wasn't like a one episode thing. He had a lot of the good lines to actually back up the whole crew and back up the whole story tension. Samuel L. Jackson was a shining star in this episode. He basically was just acting like himself. Very crazy how in this episode too, you see how he just easily kind of fades away. You kind of see the future with him, with a show probably coming up soon. It's an awesome character to bring on board. What a great season to see Dunmire's character and actually see, you know, he's done for. Interesting villain that they chose, and they did a good job. This episode definitely flew by. The last two seasons have not been ending very, very well for Dwight, and it leaves us on that cliffhanger like, bruh, no way, there has to be another episode. But they just leave us dead ass on a cliffhanger. But this episode didn't have a cliffhanger moment. It just had that feeling of knowing like the crew's gonna be back. I like the choice on that. Thank goodness as well. You could see with the acting that Stallone's character Dwight was actually like kind of peaceful at the end. Sister's back, business is booming, his whole crew is safe and intact. So a really cool sigh of relief at the end of this episode to see that Dwight finally didn't have to get done dirty and that he can actually enjoy his drink and cigar at the end of the episode. After my watching Tulsa King season 3 episode 10, Jesus Lizard out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this episode a 10 out of 10. That's my review for Tulsa King season 3 episode 10, Jesus Lizard. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.